Hi, I'm Brandon Jackson, retired Air Force and Oklahoma City real estate expert. This is your February 2026 OKC Real Estate SITREP. Let's break down what's really happening in the market. So you're thinking about making a move in Oklahoma City. Well, the latest housing numbers for February came in, and honestly, they're telling a really interesting story about the opportunities that are out there right now. We're going to break down what all this data actually means for you, whether you're looking to buy or thinking about selling. And so just so we're all on the same page, we're laser focused on the greater Oklahoma City metro area. You know, it's a huge market, it covers 9 counties, and what happens tends to be a pretty big deal. And the patterns we're seeing this month, yeah, you're going to want to pay attention. So this is the big one, right? The question on everyone's mind. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What's the deal? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no, but the data gives us some very clear clues. So let's get into that. Let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture. These key numbers comparing this February to last February give us a fantastic snapshot on the market's overall health and where it's heading. All right, so here's the dashboard. You see a whole lot of green arrows pointing up, more listings, more sales, but you also see a couple of red arrows pointing down. And the median sales price and the last one, which is just the final sales price compared to what it was first listed for. But don't worry about memorizing all this. We're going to unpack the two most important stories these numbers are telling us right now. So the first thing that jumps off the page is the huge surge in pending sales. I mean, nearly 14% increase compared to last year. That's a big deal. It's the clearest sign that we have buyers out there that are serious and they're willing to sign the dotted line. But at the exact same time, take a look at this. We saw a big jump in the number of homes for sale, what we call inventory. So you've got more buyers writing contracts and you've got more sellers putting their homes on the market. So what in the world happens when both of these things go up at once? Well, you get what we're seeing right now, a busy but pretty balanced market. And this is the key takeaway here. Even though sellers are giving buyers more options to choose from, the buyers are motivated and they're snapping them up. Demand is basically keeping up with the new supply. So what does this balance really mean for you if you're looking to buy? Let's break that down. Okay, if you're thinking about buying a home in Oklahoma City, this is what all the big picture stuff means for you. Like when you're actually out there looking at houses, there's a real opportunity for you right now. That just wasn't there a year ago. One of the most important numbers for a buyer is something called months of supply. And you can see it's ticked up from 3.8 to 4.2 months. Now I know that might not sound like a huge jump, but trust me, in real estate, that little shift signals a really meaningful change in how the market feels. Here's an easy way to think about it. Imagine if every single builder and seller in Oklahoma City decided to go on a long vacation starting tomorrow. No new homes would be listed at all, and it would take 4.2 months to sell every single house that's currently for sale. So a higher number there means more choice for buyers, and it's as simple as that. So let's connect the dots for the buyer. More inventory means you're not in this frantic situation like fighting over one or two houses. You've got more options. And remember that tiny dip we saw, the median sales price, that tells us that crazy bidding wars have cooled off, which gives you more breathing room, a little more leverage when it comes to negotiating. Okay, let's switch hats now. If you're a seller, hearing about more inventory, less pressure on buyers might sound a little concerning, but it absolutely doesn't have to be. It just means your strategy has to be much smarter. So let me ask you this. When buyers have more choices, what's the one thing that's going to make them choose your house over the one for sale just down the street? Well, lucky for us, the data gives us a very clear answer. And to really see why this is so critical is the market report gave us this fantastic case study from the Edmond area. And I mean, perfectly shows the dramatic real world difference between two different pricing strategies. And the difference is staggering. Look at this. On one side, you have a home that's priced right for the market. It sold for full asking price in just 17 days. On the other side, of an overpriced home, it finally sold for 96% of its original list price. And it took a painful 130 days to do it. Just let that number sink in. 113 extra days. That's 113 extra days of mortgage payments, utility bills, of keeping the house clean for showings, all that stress and uncertainty, only to walk away with less money than if you had priced it correctly. And from day one, that's almost 4 extra months on the market. So the bottom line for sellers is this. In a market with more competition, getting the right price on day one isn't just a good idea, it's the absolute key to getting where you want to go. Overpricing is without a doubt the most expensive mistake a seller can make. Okay, so after digging through all this data, what's the play? What's your next move? Let's boil it all down to see the most important takeaways for both buyers and sellers in today's Oklahoma City market. For buyers, your window of opportunity is definitely open. You've got more choices and a bit more power than you did a year ago. For sellers, the buyers are absolutely out there, but you have to grab their attention with a smart, data-driven price. The market isn't waiting around, it's moving, and it's rewarding the people who have a clear strategy. At the end of the day, these numbers are telling a clear story of a market that's really active and full of potential, but it's a market that's only going to work for those who know how to read the signs. So the real question isn't what's the market doing, it's how are you going to use this information to make your next move.